Thank you, Jack. Time to meet some of the fans in the stands as we've got De La Salle set to go against Park Ridge, Maine South, and that should be some kind of a basketball game. Some people here that are very much interested in De La Salle. This is the mother of one of the premier basketball players in the state, Daryl Allen. Mrs. Allen, you must be proud of your son.
Very proud of him.
You've had some tough basketball games to get this team down here, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
Tell me about it. You beat Proviso East, first of all, huh?
We beat Proviso East, and we beat St. Joseph to get to win the super section.
Then you beat Barrington.
For the super section. Yeah.
You beat a pretty good guard in Isaiah Thomas, didn't you?
Oh, yes. But
Well,
he's only one man.
That's right. He's a crackerjack of a ball player. Tell me about your son. Tell me about your son. People are going to be watching him this afternoon. Tell me a little bit about him.
Well, I think he's all psyched up for the game, and they owe Maine South one because they beat him in the Christmas tournament. So I think they'll do fine.
They tell me you've seen every game, have you?
I have. I have missed one.
Were you down here 2 years ago, were you?
I was down here 2 years ago.
Did I talk to you then?
No, you did
didn't.
not. No.
Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you now.
Thank you.
I like your shirt. It says De La Salle, #1.
That's
Miss
right.
Allen, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Pleasure talking to you. Excuse me, now I'm going to step over and talk to Mr. and Mrs. McHale. They, too, have a son playing for De La Salle, and I talked with you a couple of years ago, did I not?
2 years ago, and I hope it's a good omen because we're down here to win again.
Well, maybe De La Salle feels I'm a lucky charm. I don't know. Tell me about your son. He's a starting guard. They tell me one of the fine starting forward, one of the fine ball players on the team. Tell me about him.
He's a strong ball player. He plays pretty strong.
Get his athletic ability from the old man, does he?
Well, I don't know. It had to be a long time ago.
A few seasons ago. Tell me about this team. You've seen them all? Every game?
I've seen all the games. I think they're fantastic. We were underrated 2 years ago. We're still underrated, but I think we're going to come out on top.
Good talking to you, Mr. and Mrs. McHale, and I hope your son
Can I say
plays.
hello to my two beautiful grandchildren?
You want to say hello to who?
My two beautiful grandchildren.
What are their names?
Maggie McHale and Eddie McHale.
You can't say hello to them,
All
no.
right.
Thank you. Nice talking to you. Let me meet some of the Maine South Rowdies. Who have I got here? Larry Brush, and that's Larry over there, and you're Mike Rotundo.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me about this group of rowdies that are down here to cheer the Hawks on.
Well, we've been going with the Hawks since the beginning of the season, and we knew we had a good team from the start. We knew we'd be here, and we're just proud to be here. There's a bunch of them up there. There's about 50 or 60 of them up there. You can probably hear them now up there screaming their heads off.
I can. Larry, do you make every basketball game, do you?
Oh, yeah. I haven't missed one yet. I wouldn't dare. Our job is to get the crowd participation going, and when you've won 14 games by 3 points or less, it's a major factor in any game. So we get them going, and we're going to beat De La Salle today.
Sounds to me like you've been kind of hanging on by your fingernails all year, have you?
We keep them going. We keep them going. No matter what we're down by, the Rowdies keep the fans going, and we really get the team jacked up.
Have you had a chance to see De La Salle play this year?
We played against them in one tournament, and they look tough, but I think we can beat them.
We beat them last tournament. In the Christmas tournament, we came back from a 14-point deficit, which proves we're never out of it. We always come back.
And pulled another one of those three-point games.
Hawks are a clutch ball club. That's what we are, clutch ball club.
Clutch on, Hawks. All right. Thanks, Larry, and thanks, Tony. Good luck to you, fellas.
Yeah.
All right. And that's it from the fans in the stands. Now let's go to Tournament Central and Floyd Brown.
Thank you very much, Don, and we'll be looking for you to join Jack Burmaster to bring us an update of the teams playing in the second quarterfinals this afternoon. Our coverage will continue right after this.
Ed, what's wrong?
I don't feel so good.
Ed, honey?
I'm all right, honey. It's okay. Okay.
I'm going for help. I'll be back as soon as I can. Stop! Please, stop! Oh, no.
A broken payphone. Frustrating, even in everyday circumstances. In emergencies, it can be disastrous. Illinois Bell makes regular checks of all public phones, but we can't be everywhere. So please, anytime you find a phone that isn't working, go to another phone and report it. Call our repair service at 611 in Chicago and most suburbs and give them the number and location of the broken phone. There'll be no charge, and you could save somebody serious trouble.
And now Jack Burmaster and I are going to bring you an up-to-the-minute report on the two teams meeting in our next quarterfinal game. As a starting point, we'll have some film highlights of Tuesday's super sectional game in which Maine South downed New Trier West 65-64. Maine South is located in Park Ridge, 135 miles north of Champaign.
Maine South in the white trailed by as many as 11 points in the first half. Here in the second half, Jay Heiler passes to John Baker, who lays it in to cut West's lead to 58-54. The Hawks cut New Trier's lead to 62-60 when Dan Fiddler hit a short jumper in the lane. With 1 minute remaining, Fiddler grabbed an errant inbound pass and went in for a dunk to tie the game at 62. 40 seconds left. Tom Franz hits a baseline jumper and West leads 64-62. It was 64-63 when Maine South inbounded the ball with 8 seconds to go. Fiddler shot and missed, but grabbed his own rebound and laid it in to give Maine South a 65-64 victory over New Trier West.
Well, this is the first trip downstate for Maine South, Coach, but they won an earlier match and a game with their opponents today. Do you think they can do it again? Tell us about that team.
Well, they have a habit of going behind and then coming from way behind and winning right at the buzzer. I saw an unbelievable super sectional game against New Trier West. I still can't imagine that they won. They have a good team. They have an individual, Jeff Baker. Herb Williams just talked about him. Jeff has to have a good ball game if they are to beat De La Salle. He's a slender 6'4" player whose size is very deceiving. He plays like a Mack truck once he gets going. He has a tremendous outside shot. He can pass. Maine is going to represent themselves very well, I believe.
Well, now let's take a look at some highlights of another game played last Tuesday in which De La Salle defeated Barrington 65-62. De La Salle Institute is located in Chicago, 135 miles north of Champaign.
De La Salle has the ball as we pick up some of the action from the first quarter of that game. John McHale cans a jumper from long range. The Meteors' Mike Williams received a pass here and put in a 15-foot jumper. Big eye for a big man. Barrington stayed close as Tim Millay passed to Ron Cassiopo, who hit an off-balance shot from the baseline. De La Salle's Mike Williams got a jump shot from the top of the key at the end of the period. The Meteors went on to beat Barrington 65-62.
Well, De La Salle could be rated as underdogs here because they lost to the team before, but the coach, Jerry Tokar, says that they didn't have Williams at the time that they lost that game, and so they're going to be a different ball club today, huh?
Well, I know Jerry is one of the most intense coaches down at the tournament, and he says he's not going to let this one slip by. And you said it, Darrell Allen is a super basketball player. We saw him 2 years ago here as a sophomore. He had an off year last year as a junior, but he is coming on. If he is on his game, I'm afraid it's going to be too much for Maine South.
Jack, it's going to be quite a matchup. They've got a good, strong front line. All three of these fellows in the 200-pound range, and they're 6'5", the two forwards, 6'6", Darrell Allen, and they've got good height at the guards, too. It will be a good matchup. Thank you so much for your comments, Jack. It's almost game time, and that means that we should get out to courtside to bring you the opening lineups of the upcoming game. Our coverage will continue right after this.
Reach out and touch someone. Reach out, call up and just say hi.
Reach out and touch someone you care about tonight. By dialing direct after 5 p.m. weekdays, you can call as far as Dallas and talk for 10 minutes for only $2.31 plus tax. Imagine 10 minutes to Dallas for $2.31. So what are you waiting for?
Reach out and touch someone.
Hi, Pat Summerall to talk to you about your local True Value hardware store. He's one of more than 5,000 dealers buying together for less to save you more. But because he owns and operates his own store, his success depends on you. And he has to do more than just offer name brand merchandise, and he does. He also offers friendly, helpful advice. So the next time you see the words True Value on a hardware store, you'll know why True Value is more than just a name. It's their way of doing business.
There's a whole new direction, a whole new point of view. Everybody's out and going, doing what they love to do. That's why now you'll find the age of 7-Up is here. Cause we love that crisp, refreshing taste, so light and crystal clear. Moving up, turning up, looking up, serving up. America is turning 7-Up, reaching up, speeding up, feeling up, heating up. America is turning 7-Up.
Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification.
This is WGN Television 9 Chicago.
You know, sometimes it's important for people at home to reach high schoolers attending the tournament. Well, in the event of an emergency, the university's worked out a system for parents and friends at home to be able to telephone high school students attending the tournament here in Champaign-Urbana. All you have to do is call area code 217, and the phone number is 333-2923. Again, area code 217, and the phone number 333-2923.
Well, it's about time for the second quarterfinal game. And now, here are the De La Salle Meteors team members. Number 10, senior, Albert Williams. Number 11, junior, Dave Calloway. Number 12, a junior, Dave Field. Number 14, sophomore, Bernard Cole. Number 15, a senior, Tony Rappo. Number 20, a junior, Jerry Tokars. Number 21, junior, Mark Payon. And now the starting lineup. For De La Salle, number 25, at forward, 6'5", senior John McHale. Number 23, at forward, 6'6", a sophomore, Mike Williams. Number 55, at center, number 55, 6'6", senior Darrell Allen. Number 33, at guard, 6'2", senior Demetrius Brown. Number 24 at guard, 6'2", junior, Dan Burrich. And the coach of the De La Salle Meteors, Jerry Tokars. And now here are the cheerleaders for the De La Salle Meteors. And now, here are the Maine South Hawks team members. Number 12, junior, Jim Whalewonder. Number 14, junior, John Jensen. Number 30, junior, Mike McCarthy. Number 32, senior, Dave Holscher. Number 34, senior Todd Vukovic. Number 40, a senior, Brian Sir. Number 54, senior, Tim Leffler. And now the starting lineup for Maine South. Number 22, at forward, 6'4", senior, Jeff Baker. Number 44, at the forward, 6'4", senior, Dan Fiddler. Number 52, at center, 6'4", senior, Chris Theodore. Number 10, at guard, 6' senior, Jay Heiler. Number 24, at guard, 5'11", senior, John Crawl. And the coach of this Maine South Hawks ball team, Quitman Sullen. And here are the cheerleaders for the Maine South Hawks. Once again, the starting lineup for Maine South. After I tell you that the floor officials are Stan Heath and Jack Razor. Okay, it's going to be Barker, Fiddler, Theodore, Heiler, and Crawl going for the Hawks. It's going to be McHale, Williams, Allen, Brown, and Burrich going for the De La Salle Meteors. And to bring you all the exciting play-by-play action for the second quarterfinal game here at Champaign-Urbana is Tom Kelly.
Thank you, Floyd Brown. Quitman Sullins is doing some last-second coaching over here with his Maine South Park Ridge Ball Club. And on the floor awaiting the arrival of the white jersey trimmed in red Hawks are the De La Salle Meteors, and they'll be in blue and gold. And jumping center will be big Darrell Allen, 6'6" senior. What a tall, good-looking ball club that De La Salle team is. They were beaten by Maine South 57-56 back in a tournament, and Maine South has won 18 straight coming into this ball game. Allen controls the tip, and up with it is Williams, and the game is underway. He flips it back out to Burrich. Burrich gives it over on the side to Demetrius Brown, the other guard, to Allen, back out to Burrich. Right side to Brown. 1-3-1 zone set up down deep in the right-hand corner. With it is Allen, double team, back out, driving into the lane. Jump shot from about 12 feet that falls away. Rebound, whistle on the play. Brown put up the shot. Rebound came off to Williams, and we've got a foul called on Maine South.
Here's the fight under the backboard for the ball. You can see the height of De La Salle, number 23. Mike Williams put it up.
Inbound pass comes all the way back out to Williams. Flips it on top to Burrich. Burrich on the corner. Jump shot out of the baseline. No good by Allen. Rebound is controlled by Brown of De La Salle. Left side, Burrich, 15-footer, and he banks it in. 2-0. De La Salle leads. The foul was called on Chris Theodore of Maine South. And now the Hawks come out of the backcourt with the ball. John Crowell, a 5'11" senior guard. Deep in the corner against a 2-3 zone with the ball is Hyler. Hyler top of the key. Right side back to Hyler. Drives the baseline, hands off, fake. Turnaround is no good by Baker, and we've got a traveling violation against the Hawks, and the ball will be out of bounds, and with it, De La Salle brings it up the floor. Played about a minute. De La Salle leads 2-0. The winner goes against East Moline's Panthers in the first semifinal game tomorrow afternoon. On the wing, Allen. Back out on top to Burrich. Burrich, top of the key, flips it over to Williams, down the right side to Allen. Allen back out to Williams, and the high post to McHale. Feeds the middle to Allen. Turnaround 5-footer. Battle for the rebound. Up with the ball is Baker. Baker of Maine South brings it down the court in the middle. Bounce pass traveling. Ball got away from Baker as he broke down. Tried to hit Theodore with a bounce pass. And the turnover gives the ball to De La Salle. Burrich comes out of the backcourt with the ball. Flips it over to Williams. Excuse me, that's Brown. Demetrius Brown. Brown to the right side of the lane. About an 18-footer. Hits the rim. Hits over the top of the board, hits the floor out of bounds. It goes to Maine South.
This front line for De La Salle is a picket fence, isn't it? Around that basket down there. They're really tall.
Crowell with the ball in the corner to Hyler. Pass underneath intended for Baker. Got away. Overthrown. Over the end line. Out of bounds. Turnover. De La Salle leading 2-0. We've played almost 2 minutes of this opening period, and only one field goal, though De La Salle has had a lot of shots. Brown flips it over on the wing to McHale. Back to Burrich. Top of the key. Gives to Allen. Good defense. Poked away by Baker. Baker's been everywhere for Maine South so far. Flip back out to Brown. On the right wing to McHale. Top of the key to Burrich. Underneath for McHale. A whistle and a foul will be called on Theodore, and that's his second.
All right, let's watch as Theodore picks up his second foul on the simple feed underneath. He's out of position, and you saw over the back.
Inbounding the ball for De La Salle will be number 55, Darrell Allen, 6'6" senior. Lobs it on the left to McHale. Back out on top to Brown, to Burrich. Left side to McHale, back to Burrich. Jump shot by Burrich, front of the rim. Rebound is off. Long lead pass for Hyler. Underneath. Game is tied. Nice fast break.
And he called a technical, Tom.
Technical foul.
Defender hung on the rim, right? You know, Burrich let him go in almost uncontested, and for some strange reason went up and had to grab the rim. And of course, that is a temptation sometimes.
At the free throw line will be John Crowell, and that was the first shot taken by Maine South, and it turned into a fast break bucket and 3 points. And the ball will be out of bounds to Maine South, so it could be a 5-point play and maybe 6, maybe even 7 if they should get a bucket and a man away. Well, all right. And at any rate, it's 3-2. Favor of Maine South. In the middle to Baker. Shot attempt is tapped away. Up with the ball is Hyler for Maine South. 5:18 to go, first period. Kroll, top of the key, 20-footer. Rebound is off to Brown. Lead pass, Burrich. He's all alone. Oh, hesitated for a moment, and that allowed Baker to block the shot. I don't know what happened to Burridge, but he seemed to wait an extra second.
Well, Burridge was very conscious of Baker trailing him down the court. He should have gone right up. He kind of double clutched it in there and just gave Baker enough time.
Inbound pass comes back to Burridge, over to Brown. On the left wing now to Allen. Allen holds the ball, flips it back out, back down the left wing to Allen. Drives to the baseline, put it up from there, no. Too much traffic. Back out to Burridge, right side to Brown. Zone defense set up by Maine South. Baseline turnaround by Allen. Rebound underneath, up with the ball, Maine South. Lead pass to Hyler. Hyler in the middle, passing to Theodore. Left to the lane, puts up the shot under pressure. Whistle on the play, and a foul will be called on De La Salle.
All right, here we go. As a nice feed over to Theodore. Theodore looking in there after he gets the ball, sees all the height. He kind of double clutches, puts it up, and as you can see, is fouled on the line for two.
Foul was called on Mike Williams. That's his first. And at the free throw line to shoot a pair, Chris Theodore. 60% free throw shooter. 3-2, Maine South leading with 4:39 to go in the first period of play. Game has started quite slowly as contrasted with that East Moline, East St. Louis game. They were off and running. Second attempt by Theodore gives him his first point, and it's 4-2 in favor of Maine South. It was 18-17, 35 points in the first 8 minutes of our opening quarterfinal game. We'll see how these two teams compare point-wise. Total. With the ball, De La Salle, lob underneath, intended for Williams, poked away, good defense by Theodore. Hyler, lead pass at the baseline. Hyler couldn't save it. No basket. Over the end line. Turnover, the ball out of bounds to De La Salle. Crowell and Hyler, and Crowell with a lead pass that Hyler couldn't save. Maine South likes to make that transition game a quick one, Jack. They come out of the backcourt in a hurry.
Yeah, they've got to run to beat De La Salle. No way can they stand back and just play against their strength. So they're going to throw the ball away a little, but they also are going to do a lot of running.
From the side, Brown, a heartbreaker. Rebound, Williams for two. Whistle, foul underneath. Williams gets his first bucket. We'll check the foul as the official comes to the bench. It's going to be called on 44 Fiddler.
All right, let's watch Williams. Up he goes, shows his tremendous height. There he goes, and Fiddler gets him. No question about it.
Game is tied at 4, and we've got Williams at the line to put De La Salle in front if he makes it a three-point play.
He showed excellent discipline. Didn't put the ball down on the floor, Coach, something you would like. He went right back up with it, and that got him 2 points.
Yeah, well, that's the old cardinal axiom. You know, don't bounce that ball. Don't take that grade school dribble first. But he missed the free throw. Here we go, Tom.
And Maine South has got it out of the backcourt. Hyler over the timeline. Flips it over to Crowell. Crowell, diminutive guard, across the top of the key, down deep in the corner to Hyler. Back out to Crowell. At the free throw line, flips it cross court, poked away by Brown. Out of bounds, Maine South.
Usually against the zone, they'll put Jeff Baker on the baseline. Right now, he's not playing baseline. Perhaps they figure there's just too much beef in there to get him the ball, but they want Baker to have the ball.
Crowell with the top of the key, number 24 in the white and red uniform of Maine South. The Theodore, jump shot Baker, nice touch, he's got two, and Maine South leads 6-4. 3:28 to go, first quarter of play. Second quarterfinal game of the afternoon here at the Assembly Hall. Brown down the right side to Allen, fires it cross court to Brown, whirls toward the lane, deflected by Baker, foul on Baker, his first, and it'll be Brown at the free throw line to shoot a pair.
All right, let's watch this. This is questionable. Brown gets the ball. Now watch Baker come from behind. It looks like he does not foul, does he? Well, the official called it.
I tell you, he didn't get him with the hand, Jack Burmaster. He might have gotten him with the lower part of his body, but he did not foul him going up with the ball. Here's Brown at the free throw line, 70% free throw shooter. Demetrius did not get a friendly bounce. He's the leading scorer on this basketball team, averaging 14.4 points per game. De La Salle, 25-4. Brown makes that. It is 6-5 in favor of Maine South. And out of the backcourt, John Crowell, a 5'11 senior guard with the ball. Against the zone in the middle to Fiddler, baseline to Baker. Baker's hit 2 in a row from long range, 8-5 Maine South.
Yes, sir, you can't leave him alone. He has such a quick release.
Baker, a thin 6'4 forward and an outstanding touch. Nice shooter. In the corner, Allen with the ball. Fakes, tried to, got caught between a rock and a hard place. Fiddler fouled him, they say. That's his second. Looked like Allen went up, didn't know whether he wanted to shoot it or throw it away. The referee decided all of that for him by calling a foul on Fiddler.
Well, Fiddler, if he decides not to be a basketball player, can be a Rhodes Scholar. I understand he ranks #1 in the class at Maine South. He also made the winning bucket to get his team down here against New Trier in a great super sectional final.
Darrell Allen gets his first point of the afternoon. 8-6 now. Maine South leading De La Salle, and the Meteors at the line. 8-7 as Allen converts them both. In the backcourt, Johnny Crowell brings it up the floor after glancing over to Quitman Sullins, his coach, to get a final comment, bit of instruction. Crowell and Heiler standing near midcourt, and they're going to hold the ball, and with De La Salle trailing, why, De La Salle must come out and assume a defensive stance. The burden of proof is on the defense.
Yes, it is, and the official has already made the warning and is counting.
That's right. Heiler with the ball, flips it over to Fiddler. Fiddler back out to Crowell to Fiddler. 2:18 to go if you're in this first period, if you're thinking about him holding onto the ball and running the clock down, although they are not too anxious to make a move toward the bucket, are they? Fiddler on the right wing, back out to Crowell. De La Salle comes out, puts some pressure on the ball, and the person of Burridge. Free throw line to Baker, turn around, nice touch, but it doesn't get a friendly bounce. Rebound to Williams. Williams clears the ball over to Burridge, and Burridge comes out of the backcourt for the gold and blue Meteors. On the left wing to Allen. Back out on top to Brown, to Allen. From the side, Allen shot, rolls the rim, rebound is off, scramble for the ball, a foul on Williams. For Williams, his second, and a De La Salle fan didn't like that too much.
I'm surprised that the gold team, De La Salle, is not getting that ball in a little bit tighter. They have such tremendous brute strength that I think that they could chuck that ball in there. You can't tell me that Williams and the other big guy can't handle themselves. Allen in there.
And even McHale is very big. McHale is 6'5". They really have this Maine South team outsized underneath, but as you've indicated, Jack, so far, Jerry Tokar's club has not seemed to take advantage of their superiority in size, at least getting it underneath, getting down low with the ball. It would appear that Allen, Williams, and McHale would pretty well own the board offensively underneath, but they haven't used it yet. Got a minute 8 to go, first period, 8-7. Team with the ball, Maine South leading by 1. They're playing a little keep away now, run the clock down.
What they want to do is lull De La Salle to sleep, and then you watch, they'll flash number 22 Baker out to meet the ball, and he'll turn around and take that shot before you can blink an eye.
And he'll probably hit it because he averages just a tad under 26 points a game. So Baker is by far and away a premier basketball performer in the true sense of being a pure shooter. He's very good. With the ball, Heiler, the crowd doesn't care for it too much, but they never ask how, just how many. Flip to Taylor, to Baker. Baker couldn't get in, flips it back out to Heiler, back out to Crowell. 25 seconds to go, first period of play. Maine South leading by 1. Heiler says, you go over there. Crowell flips it down the left side to Baker, back out on top to Crowell. 14 seconds, 13. First period of play, down the side to Baker.
Baker will shoot it, I'm sure.
7 seconds in the middle to
I'm
Fiddler.
not sure.
Right side to Heiler, driving underneath, slapped away, out of bounds. We've got a second left. The ball belongs to Maine South, and the first period is nearly history. 8-7, Maine South leading. Inbounding it, Fiddler. Lobs it in, Theodore in the air, shot blocked at the whistle. And we've come to the end of the first quarter of play. And the score, Maine South 8 and De La Salle 7.
Alexander Graham Bell is best remembered as the man who invented the telephone. But in his own time, he was well known for a different kind of work.
Practice making the sound good.
Teaching the deaf to speak.
Good.
Illinois Bell wants to help the disabled communicate with others.
Good.
In most cases, we can make using the telephone easier for those who suffer a loss of hearing, speech, sight, or a motion disability.
Now, say good. Good. Good, good girl. Good girl, wonderful.
Usually the charge for these services is minimal.
Goodbye, Danielle.
Goodbye.
For information about special services for the disabled, call area code 312-727-4421, collect, or your Illinois Bell Service representative.
In that first period of play, the Meteors, at whom you're looking now, made 2 of 11, 18%, and that's not going to beat anybody. Maine South took only 6 shots. They made 3 of them for 50%, and 6 is not enough shots to take. You aren't going to beat many people with only 24 shots in a basketball game, Coach Burmaster.
No, I tend to agree with you. It's interesting to see what's going through the two coaches' minds. I'm sure Jerry Tokars is a little frustrated right now with his ball club. Looks to me as though they lack a little quickness, and I think Quitman Sullins is going to try to exploit that lack of quickness.
Allen controls the tip. De La Salle has the ball in the person of Demetrius Brown. Flips it over to Burridge. Against the zone defense, we'll see how they operate. To Allen, right side of the lane. Baseline jumper. Dwayne Allen now has a total of 4 points, and it's 9-8 as De La Salle leads for only the second time in this basketball game. With it is Crowell against the zone on the right wing to Fiddler. Maine South with the ball out on top to Heiler. Flip over to Theodore, back to Heiler. Nice fake. Passing in the middle. Turnaround is up and good. And score the bucket by Fiddler. 10-9. Maine South back on top. Second quarter just underway. Burridge with it for De La Salle. To Brown. Against the zone to Burridge on the left side. To Brown, top of the key. Bounce past McHale. To the floor with it in the baseline, right side. Can't get in, flips it back. About a 10-footer by Burridge. No good, and a whistle as people stumble about, and a foul is going to be called on number 23, and that is Williams, and that is his third.
All right, let's see how Williams picks up his third foul. He's in tight, and he must have pushed off as that ball went up. No question, he cleaned out the whole Maine South ball club.
Mike Williams at 6'6", a sophomore, has his third personal. And we've got 6:48 to go in the first half as Maine South leads 10-9 in a game that appears to be Maine South's tactic. Slow it down, deliberate. Let's see if we can't get one premier shot. I said 24 in a ball game would not be enough shots to take. If you hit half of them, why, you'd end up with 24 points from the field. I don't know how many ball clubs you can beat with just 24 points. If Wes Mason is listening up at Bloom, he probably knows how many. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that Lockport Stall had a little more movement than Maine South, although certainly De La Salle is not putting much pressure at all on the Maine South ball club.
They kick the ball free, though. McHale picks it up over to Brown, and the Meteors come back down the floor. In a bit of a hurry now. Brown on the left side. Back out to Burridge. We'll see if the Meteors can turn the turnover into a bucket. Whistle away from the ball, and we've got an offensive foul on McHale. And the ball goes out of bounds on the turnover. McHale's first foul. And so kicking it free from Maine South did the Meteors little good indeed. Unable to capitalize on it. And coming out of the backcourt with the ball is John Crowell, 5'11" senior guard for Maine South. They lead 10-9. Second period of play. Baseline to Baker. Turnaround. Nice move. Oh, underneath Fiddler. Got the garbage rebound and scored it.
That time,
12-9.
Baker had no business taking that shot that time, but it worked out to the Hawks' advantage.
Yes, Baker shot a low percentage shot. Deep at the baseline. Not much to see basket-wise, but he put it up. Rebound, Allen. Turnaround. Underneath Williams for 2. 12-11. Maine South leads by 1. They've got the ball. Williams, the young man with 3 fouls, picks up his 4th point. He has as many as anybody on the floor. Baker and Fiddler have 4. Allen has 4. That kind of a ball game, 12-11. On the side with it is Heiler, back out to Crowell. Crowell walks it back toward the midcourt line, content to take his time, and that of the team, Maine South from Park Ridge. That's Baker on the wing, lobs it back out to Heiler, over to Crowell. Down the left side to Fiddler. Crowd a bit impatient with a slow down, deliberate style of basketball that Quitman Sullins has got his team in. Winner will meet East Moline tomorrow in our opening semifinal game. East Moline, a 64-56 winner over East St. Louis. Had the pleasure of talking to them between games. Nice group of young men. And their coach, Cliff Talley. Nice man. Brought a ball club down here. Finished second with the team in 1970.
There the official is counting now. When he gets to 5, it'll be a technical foul on the defense.
Back out on top. The pass comes over to Baker, and he gives it to Crowd. Cross court to Heiler. 3:56 to go. Down to Fiddler. And the crowd gets a little vocal with the Maine South Hawks. And the Maine South Hawk fans respond by a cheer for their team. Fiddler at the free throw line. In the corner to Heiler, brings it back out.
They look for that weak side guard play. That's as old as basketball itself.
I thought Fiddler had a pretty good percentage shot there, Coach,
Yeah.
inside the 15-foot mark. But
well, when they look up and see Williams and Allen looking at him, though, they kind of change their mind.
De La Salle is not really putting any pressure on the ball, nor are they doing much to cut off the passing lanes. Brown comes out to play some defense on Crowell, and now they're moving in on him to Fiddler, left of the lane. There was a little pressure by Burridge, but Maine South maintains possession. Baker with it on the wing. He'll give it back out to Heiler near midcourt. So 3 minutes to go, first half. 12-11 in favor of Maine South. They beat De La Salle 57-56 in the only meeting between the two schools this year. De La Salle, of course, beat Proviso. They beat St. Joe's. Beat Barrington. We're going to have Jack Burmaster and his coaches in the coaches circle at halftime. Want you to stay tuned for that. Jack and his friends can tell us all about the delay game, right, Jack?
Well, we got Bob Basarich, and he just came off one of these. So we'll let Bob and Dick Campbell of York explain this.
Bob Basarich, of course, coached Lockport's Porters to the state championship last year and beat our friend Wes Mason in Chicago Heights Bloom 43-20. And I hope you don't misunderstand my remarks about Coach Mason. Wes and I have been friends since the days he played at Bradley University. And I couldn't help but kid the old coach a little bit. I know he must have been just livid. His team only getting 20 points. I think Chicago Heights Bloom would get 20 getting dressed. But with that great guard of theirs, McCoy, in that. But Lockport must have played a great ball game. Minute 52, 12-11 in favor of Maine South. And Jack Rosenberg, I think they may have held this ball for about 5 minutes now. I wish I'd marked the clock when there's a steal, intercepted. Brown has it one-on-one. Brown all the way, misses over the end line, tipped away. It'll be out of bounds. It'll go to Maine South. Burridge couldn't hang on, and so the drive for two comes up empty for the Meteors of DeSalle, and Maine South has it back again with 1:33 to go in the half. And they walk it 45 feet up the floor here at the Assembly Hall, Champaign-Urbana. Double team, kick free again. Up with it, McHale gives the ball to Brown. We'll see if De La Salle can go on top at the half. They missed an opportunity on the break a moment ago. Brown came up empty. Burridge has it. Burridge to Allen, brings it back out and gives it to Brown. Over to Burridge. Right side to McHale. Back out to Brown to McHale. He passes baseline. Turnaround by Williams. No good. And he's fouled. The foul is on Baker, and that is his second. And Williams will be going to the free throw line to shoot a pair. Here's another look at it. You see McHale passing to Williams, right side of the lane. There is the foul by Baker. He didn't think it was. The official said it was. And the ball is going to the free throw line, and a pair of free throws coming up for Mike Williams. He's a 52% free throw shooter, has 4 points in the basketball game. Shooting a pair. One will tie, two puts De La Salle in front. Well, the best the Meteors can hope for now is to get a tie. Maine has made 5 of 10 shots from the field. Williams misses on the miss. The rebound controlled by Theodore. Maine South has the 1-point lead, and 49-48 seconds in the first half. Shades of Providence and Timothy Christian. I saw that a week ago in a ball game that was 11-9. Crowell flips it over to Theodore, to Heiler. Maine South with a half minute to go. Gonna hold it for one. They've held it for about 5.5 minutes here in this first half. This is the second period. Chances are they can hold it easily for a handful of seconds to get one last shot. Crowell with the ball, 15 seconds.
They've got
pass in the middle, batted away, stolen. Up with it is Burridge. Burridge driving down the floor, has it kicked away and out of bounds with 8 seconds to go. Fiddler kicked it free. It'll go to De La Salle at the baseline, under the De La Salle basket to the right side of the lane, and Allen will inbound the ball. Ernie Harris drops the time clock in to show you where we stand in this first half. That's McHale. His jumper, short, rebound is off. Foul, 2 seconds, 1 in the air, off the board. Had it gone, it would have counted, but it didn't. It's academic. The end of the first half, and some of the crowd didn't like it. Maine South 12 and De La Salle 11. Now, here's Floyd Brown.
Thank you, Tom. In this, the second game of the quarterfinals here, you can see how close it is. It has been just the opposite of our first game, where there was a great deal of action on the court between the two ball clubs, in which East Moline emerged victorious in the first quarterfinal game. It would seem that the De La Salle team, with the big guys that they have across the front over there, would have forced a bit more action than they did, but it hasn't. It's been Maine South controlling the ball here most of the time and doing an excellent job of it. So we've got a very close game here at the end of the first half in the second quarterfinal game. And now, here's Jack Burmaster in Tournament Central.
Thank you, Floyd. Tom Kelly will be along to bring you a summary on the first half in just a few moments. Our coverage will continue after this.
Reach out and touch someone. Reach out, call up and show you care.
We just found this note to call our Zaniac's neighbor.
Hey, it worked! Sounds like you're just around the corner again.
Stay close to your out-of-state friends. A 10-minute weekend call as far as Los Angeles costs just $1.50 plus tax.
Reach out.
Reach out and call someone this weekend.
Sometimes life can be a tough uphill battle. But whether it's you or someone close to you who is sick or injured, it's comforting to know you can count on the people at Blue Cross and Blue Shield to see you through. The Blue Cross Blue Shield card is probably the most valuable card you can own.
Joey. Hey, Joey. Catch. Shoot it.
In America, no other get-well card means quite so much.
Count on us to lend a hand. We'll show you how we feel. We're all here to help you. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Just people.
People you can count on when it counts.
We're just people.
Well, taking care of the facts and figures in this ball game between Maine South and De La Salle wouldn't keep an accountant busy very long, I can tell you that. We've had the delay game laid on us by Maine South, Park Ridge, against De La Salle. Jack Burmaster and his coaches in a bit can probably tell you more in detail technically about that, but it would appear to me, a layman, that Maine South doesn't care to get involved in a basketball game under the boards against this big De La Salle ball club. And while they have the lead and they've got the basketball, why, it's tough for De La Salle to score. Delay games are tough, really, because if you're ahead, your team loves it. If you're behind, the other team and the fans don't care too much for it. Let's take a look at the stats for the first half for Maine South. Jeff Baker's got 4 points, as has Dan Fiddler. Chris Theodore has 1, Johnny Crowell has 1, and 2 points to Jay Heiler. For De La Salle, the scoring, Mike Williams has 4, Dan Burridge has 2, Demetrius Brown has 1, and Darrell Allen has 4. It was Maine South 8-7 at the end of the first period and 12-11 here after 16 minutes of play. Maine South 50% on 5 of 10 and De La Salle 4 of 18, 22%. Now, let's find out what the men in the coaches circle think about this delay game so far. Let's go to Jack Burmaster. Coach?
Okay, thanks, Tom. We're back in the coaches circle with 2 young fellas that I really respect and admire in the coaching business. On my far left is Dick Campbell, now of York High School, and of course everybody knows our defending state champ, Bob Basarich. Dick, we're going to start with you. You've really developed a fine program at York. You've been down here, as we know, coaching with Harv Schmidt at the University of Illinois. You're back in the prep ranks. York is right on the verge of coming down state. We all know that. How about your ball club this year, and a little bit about the first half of action?
Well, we were 20-7, Tom. Jack, we had a little
trouble getting by Proviso East in our league. We lost 3 of our 7 to them, and they're a fine ball club, and would have thought they'd have been here, except that they ran into a very tough De La Salle team and put them out, and also, of course, put out perhaps the preseason favorite, St. Joseph. The season looks, the prospects for the future for us look good. We have 4 kids back from our top 7, and we'd like to be down here. This is what it's all about.
Dick, you have seen Isaiah Thomas. Naturally, he is not going to be here. Tokars and the Meteors have taken care of that. He must be a super basketball player.
Just a great basketball player, and I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said many times. They're talking about him being maybe the best at that position that has ever come along in this state. Great quickness, great poise, control, quite a leader. He seems to beat you in so many ways. Great rebounder, excellent defensive player, super shooter, takes the ball to the hole. You know, what else can you do? Somebody's going to be very fortunate to get him to play in their program.
You bet your life. Bob Basarich, defending champion, knocking at the door again, Bob. You're the master of the undersell. I keep reading the newspapers about your poor little kids. I know they're tough. Tell us about them. Tell us about this first half. You just came off one against Wes Mason and his crew.
Well, it's obvious that Coach Sullins believes that the other team is a little bigger and stronger, which they are, obviously, and he also believes that he can't run with them, so he's went into a delay game to make them pull out so he gets some openings and use the talent they have. De La Salle has been so far settled back and relaxed, and they decided to stay in, and I think that's all in favor of the team that wants to stall it as of now. Of course, it's only half a ball game, and as you know, halves can change very quickly, and 5-6 points by De La Salle could change the strategy very much.
Do you think Maine South will continue this the second half, Bob?
Oh, yes. As long as it's working and you're the underdog, you're going to keep on using the weapon that's working the best for you.
Okay, we know you've got a tough game tonight, and you're going to get over and feed your kids and what have you. What about you and Bennett Academy, without giving away any pre-game scouting reports?
Well, there's no secrets. Bennett Academy has, of course, the incredible Hawk in the center, you know, in Lang. And they have an excellent guard in Conrad, and that makes you know, every team that has an excellent guard, and I know Dick knows this too, that when you have an 8-foot 6'8" center and you have an excellent guard, you always have a good basketball team. All you have to do is build around it, and of course their 28-2 record proves that they've had an excellent season.
Bob, good luck to you as well as Bennett. I'm not going to ask you to predict the winner because you're still involved. Dick, who's going to win this game?
Well, I would have, coming into the game, would have thought De La Salle, but now I don't know. I think that the tempo effect of the delay game has really bothered De La Salle. Their shot selection is rather questionable now. They don't know whether they should put it up because it takes a long time to get it back, and they've really been rattled by it. I really feel that it's a great ploy, and I'd like to strike a point for the ability to use this type of approach in the game. People talk about the clock, and here in college basketball, I'd hate to see it. I think it's a great part of the game. I don't think it ought to be done all the time, but it's the privilege of the team that's ahead.
Okay. Gentlemen, thanks very much for being with us and for your comments. Tom Kelly has returned to courtside, and it's time for me to join him in helping bringing you the second half action. We'll be switching out to the floor right after this.
As a telephone installer, I always carry my identification card with my name and photograph on it. If I don't show it to you, you should ask to see it. At Illinois Bell, we think you should know who's entering your home. Show and tell. That's why we say, if they don't show and tell, they're not from Illinois Bell.
Yes?
Phone man.
Do you have identification?
Yes, ma'am.
Show and tell.
This is Boot Hill. Every John Deere dealer has one. It's sort of a burial ground for trade-ins people bring in. Some of them are only a few years old, and already they're done for. At John Deere, we think lawn and garden tractors, riders, and mowers should live longer than that. So we build them tight and solid so they'll last. You may pay a little more for a John Deere, but like they say, you get what you pay for.
Hi, I'm Lee Phillip. True Value hardware stores have subjected True Test Easy Care and 12 other paints to a laboratory scrub test. After 11,000 strokes from a bristle brush with an abrasive soap solution, Easy Care was the only paint that didn't wear through. And that's why we call True Test Easy Care the scrubbable interior paint. See the complete selection of True Test paints and paint accessories in the paint center of participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Well, the two teams are coming back on the floor here. We'll have a second half in just a bit. You know, sometimes it's important for people at home to reach high schoolers attending this tournament. Well, in the event of an emergency, the university has worked out a system for parents and friends at home to be able to telephone the high school students attending the tournament here in Champaign-Urbana. We want you to call area code 217. That's area code 217-333-2923. Let me repeat that for you. Area code 217. And the phone number is 333-2923. That's your emergency phone number here in Champaign-Urbana. And I caution you about the area code 217, the area code number. Well, Jack Burmaster, Floyd Brown have joined me, Tom Kelly here at courtside. What did Bob Basarich think about that delay game? Did he like it?
Well, Bob likes it. He says it's within the rules, and why not use it? He's a little coy. Dick Campbell, on the other hand, from York, he also liked it. He said, why not? And he put a case for it. So, and he also thinks Maine South is going to hold on. He doesn't think that, he thinks De La Salle has lost their tempo, and therefore Maine South is in the driver's seat and going to hold on. We'll soon find out. It'll be interesting to see what happens if De La Salle gets ahead.
I don't think they ever got their tempo. They started out of the game very slow, no scoring on the half of both teams. On behalf of both teams, no scoring at either end of the court. And then when they finally did move out, Maine South starting to saw like they did, they just never really got going. They never have gotten going.
Tokarz thinks Demetrius Brown can compare with Thomas and McCoy and guards of that nature. Perhaps he can, but so far he has not shown it.
He's made some excellent moves to the basket and some fine defensive moves. He blocked a shot on Baker back there, which shows to his height, because Baker is at 6'4", and a very, very fine shot. But Demetrius Brown came back and did a fine job. And now back to Tom Kelly for the action.
Darrell Allen controls the tip. We have Dave Calloway in the ball game, number 11. He's got the basketball now for De La Salle, replacing Mike Williams. So they've got an added guard in there, maybe to get a little quicker movement underneath. Trying to drive with the ball, a whistle and a foul will be called on Theodore. That is his third. Driving down the right side of the lane was Burridge, but the foul was away from the ball. And the ball will be out of bounds. Getting ready to come into the game will be Tim Leffler, 6'5" senior. He'll be in replacing Theodore next time the ball is dead for Maine South. With the ball is McHale, and he throws it away. Baker intercepts, and it'll be Maine South leading by 1, 12-11, bringing it up the floor. So De La Salle missed an opportunity to go on top by not getting a shot away, at least. We'll see now if Maine South continues to hold the ball, and apparently that's exactly what they're going to do. As we start the third period, they were in front 8-7 at the end of one quarter. They have a 12-11 lead, a halftime advantage. We're just into the first minute of play in the third period. And Maine South going to try and let the air out of the ball again. Baker with it, back out on top to Crowell. Crowell over to Heiler, back out to Crowell. Winner plays East Moline. I tell you, East Moline will be up and down the floor with the basketball like somebody set it on fire. They get a chance tomorrow.
Yeah, what a contrast that would be.
Maine South, Crowell and Heiler with the basketball. Crowell with it, 30 feet away from the bucket, content to bounce it up and down. On the right side to Baker for a little change of venue, then back out on top to Crowell again. Maine South has won 18
Now they're going
straight.
man-to-man. That's what Baker wanted.
In the middle, Baker gets the pass in the bucket, and it's 14-11. All right, 6:27 to go in the third period, and De La Salle needs a hoop.
They need one badly, Tom, because their dauber is down. Nothing is going their way.
There's Allen with the turnaround. 14-13. I thought they needed one only for the exercise of shooting. They haven't had a chance to shoot the ball for about 8 minutes. And, you know, you might have to be retrained. You never can tell. You're holding on out there playing defense that long. Baker with the ball. De La Salle's in a man-to-man defense, as Jack Burmaster indicated. Underneath the Fiddler, his attempt rebounded by Allen, and De La Salle has the ball down by a point. So the Meteors can go in front if Burridge, Calloway and company can turn this into a two-pointer. Burridge top of the key. Calloway Back to Burridge. Callaway. Back to Burridge. Brown is playing a high post for De La Salle. Down the right wing to McHale. McHale, right side of the lane. Rebound comes off to Theodore. He gives the ball to Heiler. Heiler gives it to Kroll, and Maine South with a 1-point lead, 14-13. 5:15 to go, third period.
I'm afraid I'd force feed that ball into Allen in this situation.
I would try mightily. Shot by Baker, no good. Whistle underneath. And we're going to have a foul called on Allen. Over the top for Allen, that is his first. And the ball's going to be out of bounds to Maine South. It happened on the rebound, no shot taken.
All right, let's see how Fiddler picks up this foul. There he is, getting in position for the boards. There it goes. Let's have the ball bounce. Never did.
We've got 5:09 to go in the third period. Maine South 14, De La Salle 13 at the timeout.
Excuse me, we're thinking of changing our phones around.
Any rooms in particular?
I'm not sure. You see, we're redecorating.
Well, for a bedroom, we have this princess phone. Lights in the dark. And for a kitchen, we usually recommend a wall phone like this trim light.
Gee, that is handy.
People of Earth.
And for a living room or den, we have a number of different styles. And if you're looking for a real conversation piece, they're the design line phones.
Illinois Bell has telephones in a variety of styles and colors, and by getting a Bell phone, you can be sure of the quality, plus repair service if you need it, usually within 24 hours. To get the phones that suit you best, call your Illinois Bell service representative, or take them home from your nearest phone center store.
Hello, Mickey.
Yes?
Quack, quack.
We've got two more quarterfinal games starting tonight at 7. We want you to join us on all of these channels. Lockport, the defending champions, and Bennett Academy. We've got Manly against Quincy. Quincy unbeaten, 30-0. And I think only 9 teams have won championships in basketball, and that includes the unbeaten girls team with unbeaten seasons. So Quincy is trying to fly in the face of tradition. Very tough to go through a schedule of basketball in this state.
Well, we had one last year.
Yep.
But did it?
That's right. Underneath, give and go. They're going to give the bucket to Heiler on a goaltending call against Allen. And Maine South leads 16-13.
They caught him napping that time. Again, that's just a simple weak side guard play where you catch the defense looking the other way and your man slips behind.
Little backdoor move. In the corner with the ball, Brown underneath to Allen, about a 10-footer. Rebound falls back to Allen. Somebody must have nailed a lid over that basket. Rebound to Baker, and here comes Maine South, leading by 3.
Yeah, there's more pressure now. They're going to pick him up.
Coming out to play defense, Callaway with the ball, Heiler. Man-to-man defense by De La Salle. Little switch there. They had a mismatch, but the ball kicked free, but knocked out of bounds. It'll go to Maine South.
Well, against this man-to-man, Maine South has a very clever offense, Tom. It's a kind of, he calls it a 1-2-2. It's an offense he copied from a neighboring coach, Pete Christie of Niles North.
Good defense in there by Burridge. Knocked that ball free, but he couldn't find the handle. We'll have a jump ball in the circle to our right, which, boy, there's a lot of anxiety there in some of those pretty faces, wasn't there? Baker jumping against Burridge in the Maine South center to our right. The tip controlled by the Hawks. Heiler has it. Flips it on the right wing to Baker. Baker swings into the middle all the way. Nice move.
He's deceptive, isn't he? He's so thin, and yet when he moves, he really goes. He's a strong kid.
18-13, Maine South. Baker's got a total of 8 points for the Maine South Hawks. On the right side, Brown, cross court to Burridge, driving under. Tried to get the shot away, traveling.
Jerry Tokars is calling a timeout. He's seen enough.
We've got the score with 3:49 to go, third quarter. Maine South 18, De La Salle 13.
Marathons, cross country, everybody's on the run. Not just so much to stay in shape, but 'cause it's lots of fun. And the light, refreshing taste today is what we're looking for. That's why 7-Up is turning up now more and more. Reaching up,
Warming up!
looking up,
Running up!
America is turning 7-Up. Moving up,
Jogging up!
feeling up,
Being up!
America is turning 7-Up.
To you, this may look like just another house for sale. But to the people who are buying and selling it, it's an important legal transaction, and it calls for a lawyer. Whenever you're buying or selling a home, your lawyer is there to help by preparing documents, examining contracts, and providing sound legal advice to protect your interest in one of the largest financial undertakings of your life. So when you're ready to make a move, stop. Before you sign anything, be sure. Work with your lawyer.
Let's take 5 seconds now for station identification.
This is WGN Television, Chicago.
These are from Maine South, the Park Ridge. There you see the young ladies and their names.
Tom, after that timeout, we're going to see if De La Salle plays with a little more emotion. I can tell you one thing, Jerry Tokars is emotional, and I'm sure that he tried to instill some of that in him at that last timeout.
With the ball is Heiler, flips it on the wing to Crowell, driving, Baker, batted away, rejected by Allen. It'll be out of bounds. The ball will go to Maine South. Inbounding it will be Fiddler, baseline, left of the lane under the Maine South bucket. They lead 18-13, a 5-point advantage, the biggest either team has had in this game. Inbound pass in the ball game is Tim Leffler, big number 54. With the ball out on top is Crowell to Heiler to Baker, turn around over the rim. Leffler over the back picks up a foul, his first. Jerry Tokars looking on, obviously concerned. His team is down 18-13 as Callaway comes out of the backcourt for De La Salle.
Maine South still in that 1-2-2 zone. They start that way with big Jeff Baker up at front with his 6'4" arm span.
McHale tried to get it to the baseline to Allen, intercepted, picked off. The alert Maine South defense, and the ball comes back up out of the backcourt now with Crowell bringing it over the timeline. Down the right side to Baker. Man, he hands it back to Crowell. I don't know whether he wanted to or Crowell just decided to take it away. Leffler back to Crowell on the wing. De La Salle is in a man-to-man defense. Yeah. Maine South playing a zone when we get to the other end of the court.
And they have Darrell Allen covering Baker. To me, that's a mismatch. I don't think he can handle Baker. He's too fast.
Leffler threw it over the rim. Fiddler rebounds and scores. 20-13, Maine South with 2:30 to go in the third period. Lob in the high post to McHale. Back out to Burridge. To Brown. Top of the key jumper. That is the third point for Brown. Whistle, basket's good, and a foul is going to be called on Allen underneath, away from the play, his second.
All right, let's see what happens on this. We see Brown take the nice jumper from out there. Then let's watch 55, Allen. Very close foul. He gave him the elbow, though.
Allen was trying to declare squatters' rights on a little area right underneath that offensive board. In the corner with the ball into Theodore. Theodore is fouled by Burridge, who reached in and got a piece of the hand.
No question about this. Watch number 24. Here's the play inside. 24 reaches across. No question.
20-15 in favor of Maine South. They inbound the ball. With it is Crowell down the left side to Fiddler. In the middle to Theodore. Poked away. Out of bounds. It's going to go. Maine South.
Here we go, out of bounds play number 2. If they don't switch, you might get an easy layup here. Baker will be involved.
Fiddler to inbound the ball, looking for Baker. Pass comes in, nearly lost but saved at the sidelines by Crowell. Minute 57 to go, third period. 55 seconds ticking away. 5-point lead for Maine South. Underneath, pass a bit wide, loose ball picked up by Callaway of De La Salle. And the Meteors need a bucket right here.
They need one for the morale as much as anything else right now.
Brown in the middle. Oh, beautiful move. Followed, tip by Allen is good.
All right, that might be the spark to ignite them.
20-17. Maine South with a 3-point lead and the ball. Pass batted away by Callaway. Can't save it. As he goes cascading over by Radio Row over there. Boy, another great set of broadcasters over there covering the tournament for the stations, radio-wise, around the state of Illinois. Boy, what great coverage this tournament gets. Pass to Taylor from the side, routine 2. Excuse me, to Baker. Baker gets the bucket, 22-17. 5-point lead for Maine South.
That's a sideline out-of-bounds play that they've been pulling all year. I don't know what the mechanics are, but they've pulled it time and time again. Another turnover, Tom.
Yeah, Brown put it on the floor, went up the baseline and lost it. His hands slippery and the ball just fell away out of bounds. 5-point lead, Maine South. Whitman Sullins is up doing some coaching. Bounce pass down the right side to Baker. Baker back out to Heiler, back to Baker. Back out on top to Crowell.
We're going to just pass now, Tom, and cut through, hoping to lose a man.
Baker drives from behind. Allen rejects it. Good defense by the big guy.
All right, here we go. We've isolated Baker on Allen. They're going to let him go one-on-one. And it's surprising how fast Allen really is. He got over, made a clean block.
Ball out of bounds, Maine South. Inbound pass to Crowell. Crowell brings it back out with 38 seconds to go in the third period. And Maine South is up by 5 at 22-17. Heiler has it. The winner of this quarterfinal game plays East Moline in our opening semifinal.
There it is, back door.
Baker fires it underneath from the side. Fiddler puts it up. No, Leffler puts it up and scores it. Leffler. Fiddler got it. Fiddler. Give it to Fiddler. He's got 8. 24-17. Rebound Theodore. Maine South with the lead in the ball. Heiler, 20-footer, short. Third period comes to an end. The score, Maine South, 24. De La Salle, 17.
Jim and Barbara did something today they've been putting off for years. They saw their lawyer and drew up their wills. No one is dying. They're both very much alive, but they're also realistic. 3 out of 4 people die without leaving a will. If you're one of them, state law will determine how your property will be distributed. So be sure. See your lawyer and prepare your own plan for what happens not only to your estate, but to those you love.
Mountain trails or countryside as far as you can see. Camping and backpacking, now you're roaming free. That's why refreshing 7-Up's the taste we really like. It's light and crisp, so crystal clear, just like that mountain hike. Moving up, getting up, looking up, paddling up. America is turning 7-Up, reaching up, camping up, feeling up, climbing up. America is turning 7-Up.
Those are the cheerleaders from De La Salle. Fourth and final period coming up with Maine South on top by 7. This is their biggest lead of the ball game. And you're looking at the Meteor huddle with Coach Jerry Tokars. The game has not been to his liking. Been a very patient, well-coached, well-disciplined Maine South team that has taken immaculate care of the basketball. And so far, they have worked their delay game offense to perfection. Jump ball at center court. Allen controls the tip. McHale has the ball. De La Salle with it now. Burridge. And the Meteors need a hoop. Callaway, top of the key. Zone defense set up by Maine South. Down the left side to Allen. Big man to the baseline. Turns for a jumper that is short. Tip back out. Callaway scores it. You can credit that save to Burridge underneath, who tipped it back out and kept it alive. 24-19, Maine South leading by 5. Crowell with it, over to Heiler, left to the lane. Ooh, nearly walked. Back out to Crowell. Gets pressure from Burridge down the right side to Baker. De La Salle playing a man-to-man. Fiddler's pass on the side. Crowell passes up the 15-footer and brings it back out near midcourt.
They love a lot of motion in this man-to-man offense. Always moving, screening, looking for Baker. He's their wheel horse, really.
Well, he made a nice move with that shot, but he didn't get it. Callaway brings it up the floor now for De La Salle. Callaway on the right side, looking down the right wing to Allen, the big man. Fires it cross court, saved by Burridge underneath, poked away. Out of bounds, we've got a foul called on Crowell. Make it on Fiddler.
All right, let's watch the lob pass all the way across to Burridge. Burridge fumbles the ball a little, pumps, goes up, and Fiddler comes over his arm for a foul.
Timeout, 6:51 to go, fourth quarter. Maine South 24, De La Salle 19.
Ed, what's wrong?
I don't feel so good.
Ed, honey?
I'm all right, honey. It's okay. Okay.
I'm going for help. I'll be back as soon as I can. Stop! Please, stop! Oh, no.
A broken payphone. Frustrating, even in everyday circumstances. In emergencies, it can be disastrous. Illinois Bell makes regular checks of all public phones, but we can't be everywhere. So please, anytime you find a phone that isn't working, go to another phone and report it. Call our repair service at 611 in Chicago and most suburbs and give them the number and location of the broken phone. There'll be no charge, and you could save somebody serious trouble.
Let me tell you about this Maine South basketball team. Jack Rosenberg points up that Maine South has been averaging 72.6 points a game this year, and yet here in this quarterfinal game, Coach Quitman Sullins, obviously on top of his ball club with great discipline, and the team to be congratulated has gone into a delay game and has 24 points with 6:51 to go in the ball game. 10 times they were over 80 points a game. I tell you, what a tribute to this ball club.
That's a real turnaround, and Quitman has been doing a lot of homework, no question about it. If he pulls this off, it's a great coaching feat.
Callaway down the side to Burridge. De La Salle's Burridge from the baseline, jump shot rebounded by Baker, and Maine South has the ball with a 5-point advantage. Baker quickly into the front court, and down the right side. The bounce pass into Theodore, banged away and fouled from behind. And the foul is going to be called on number 25, McHale.
All right, here we go with Baker's feed. Watch him feed underneath into Big Theodore. And there's the foul. John McHale coming across.
Inbounding the ball for Maine South is Fiddler. Fiddler at the baseline, gives it into Theodore. Theodore brings it up on the right side, trying to get it outside to set it up all over again. Crowell with it, cross court to Heiler. Down the right side to Crowell, looking to the man breaking under. Fiddler flips it back out. Baker's got a 15-footer. Air ball grabbed at the baseline. Taken by Callaway. Callaway brings it over the timeline for De La Salle. The Meteors are down by 5. Still plenty of time, 6 minutes. Burridge to Allen, baseline. Allen has it poked away, gets it back, in and out. Heartbreak. Long pass down the floor to Baker. 15-footer. Threw it over the rim. Rebound comes down to Demetrius Brown, and Brown brings it over the timeline for De La Salle. Jerry Tokar's up doing some coaching. Brown flips it over to Burridge, driving, underneath, pass intended, poked away, back it comes, driving, Burridge for 2. 24-21, Maine South leading by 3. Burridge tried to hit Allen underneath, and the ball was tapped right back at him, so he took it to the rim himself.
Well, Maine South has been making the mistakes. Let's see if they can come back now.
Another good bit of defense by Darrell Allen, who came trailing Baker up the middle and reached over and tapped away the ball, keeping Baker from what looked like a lead pipe two-pointer. Pass in the corner to Crowell. Crowell brings it all the way back out. Callaway cuts him off. Crowell flips it over to Heiler. Maine South with the ball and the lead. Fiddler gives the ball to Theodore, breaking across. We've got a whistle and a foul called against De La Salle.
All right, let's see what happens on this. I believe Jeff Baker goes over on the weak side to set a pick and gets run over. That's what happens. Number 25, McHale, runs him down.
At the free throw line will be Theodore. Theodore's a 60% free throw shooter. He has 1 point in the ball game. Now he's got 2.
Well, this young man is not a smooth-looking ball player, Chris Theodore, but he's one of those meat and potato kinds. He'll get the job done when it has to be done. Good defense, good rebounder, big in there.
They love it in the stands. The Hawks of Maine South. 26-21, 5 minutes to go. They lead De La Salle. Jump shot by Brown, poked away. 3-on-1. Heiler all the way, fouled, and the foul is called on Burridge. That's his second.
Well, this is a steal, and here we see Heiler with the ball going down the left sidelines. There he goes, a little pump, and you can see number 24, Dan Burridge, coming across the arms.
You could also see the other number 24, his teammate, John Crowell. A little bounce pass would have netted 2. Free throw is good by Heiler. He's got 5 points, 27-21. Maine South on top by 6. Their biggest lead was 7. That's what it is again, 28-21. 4:52 to go, 4th quarter. Callaway with the ball. De La Salle's Meteors need some buckets in a hurry. Brown, Burridge, shot short, rebound, Maine South at midcourt to Heiler. All the way, drops it off to Theodore.
De La Salle now is just completely disheartened. We know this is not the typical De La Salle ball club, but they just don't seem to be mentally ready now to play this ball game.
They trail by 9. They've got the ball, but they're down by 9. McHale in the lane, fakes, pumps up a 12-footer, gets his own rebound, a little 8-footer, score. That's McHale's first bucket of the afternoon. 30-23. A 7-point lead for Maine South. They've got the ball with 4 minutes to go in the game. Baker. Theodore. Back out to Crowell.
A lot of movement on offense. It drives a defensive player crazy just trying to follow him through.
Fiddler to Theodore in the lane. Turn around. Rebounded by Baker for 2. 9-point lead once again for Maine South. 3:28 to go in the game. Baker's got 12. Burridge over to Brown. Brown's baseline pass for Allen. Out of bounds. It'll go to De La Salle. Theodore touched it last.
Baker's lowest point total this year has been 19 points. That's the lowest he's ever gotten in a game.
Inbound pass. Burridge had it right at the rim, came out. Rebound goes to De La Salle. McHale lobs in the corner. Allen's 15-footer. Heartbreak. Rebound is tipped over the end line by McHale, and Maine South has the ball. Jerry Tokar says, I got to check that basket. I think somebody nailed a lid on it. Timeout. Maine South 32, De La Salle 23.
Sometimes life can be a tough uphill battle. But whether it's you or someone close to you who is sick or injured, it's comforting to know you can count on the people at Blue Cross and Blue Shield to see you through. The Blue Cross Blue Shield card is probably the most valuable card you can own.
Joey. Hey, Joey. Catch. Shoot it.
In America, no other Get Well card means quite so much.
Count on us to lend a hand. We'll show you how we feel. We're all here to help you at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Just people.
People you can can count on when it counts.
We're just people.
That's the Geneseo Senior High School Band. Geneseo is located 30 miles east of the Quad Cities on Route 80. 34 members of the band here today.
We'd like to remind all our viewers that the sponsors are glad to be able to bring you these tournament games on television and would like to hear from you about our coverage. We'd sure like your comments, and we know they'll prove helpful in the future. We'll give you the mailing address soon, but play is back in. Here's Tom.
Baker has it for Maine South as they beat the De La Salle press up the floor rather easily. Crowell with it over to Heiler on the left wing. Underneath, Baker fakes. Nice move by Baker, but traveling.
That's the first time Quitman Sullins has shown any emotion this game. Usually he's up and down the floor.
2:47 time remaining. De La Salle trailing. McHale tries to get two back and is 5 feet short with that shot. In the backcourt, a foul to be called against Callaway of De La Salle. Change for De La Salle coming into the game, number 20, Jerry Tokars. Junior, son of the coach of the ball club. Coming out of the game is McHale.
Obviously, he's going to sacrifice height now for a little speed. They're really going to try to go after the ball, although their man-to-man full-court press, it has not looked that effective.
We'd like to remind all our viewers that the sponsors are glad to be able to bring you these tournament games on television and would like to hear from you about our coverage. We are sure your thoughts and comments will prove helpful in the future. Just drop us a card or letter. Write to Basketball, Box 95, Chicago, Illinois, 60690. That's Basketball, Box 95, Chicago, Illinois, 60690. Well, here we are, down almost 2 minutes left in the ball game, and it's been anything that we anticipated but what we anticipated between these two ball clubs, with a fine high-scoring center like Jeff Baker from the Maine South team, and with all of the height and ability of these fellows from the De La Salle ball club, it has really been some kind of a game with the slowdown tactics that we've seen. Be sure to join us tonight at 7 when we'll be bringing you 2 more quarterfinal games in the Illinois High School Association basketball tournament. That's going to be tonight at 7 o'clock. 2 more exciting quarterfinal basketball games. We've seen some fine teams here. Might be a little bit surprised at some of the tactics that have gone on, but the quality of the ball that's been played here certainly has not been disappointing, and it seems like our tournament will be gaining in intensity as we move along. Tom, to the free throw line and you.
And that's John Crowell looking for his second point, and he gets it. Got 2, 33-23, 10-point lead, and that's the biggest margin that Maine South has had in the ball game. De La Salle led at 2-0, and they've not been in front since. 33-23, quickly down the floor. Brown, baseline jump shot by Tokars is good. 33-25, 8-point lead for Maine South with 2:24 to go. Heiler with the ball. Goes in, comes back out, flip on the right side to Baker, back out on top to Crowell. To Baker. Back out to Heiler, cross court to Crowell, down the left side to Fiddler. Back out to Crowell.
Maine South is not changing a thing, just staying with their game plan, and what a game plan it has been.
They're really frustrating De La Salle. A study in great determination, foul to be called on Burridge. And great poise by this Maine South team, who have been asked to play a game unlike their previous games, completely away from their usual mode of basketball, a freewheeling, high-scoring type of game. A credit to their coach and to them. They're able to pull off this kind of a basketball game. Rebound on the missed free throw taken by Allen. The big guy comes out of the backcourt over the timeline, still with it in the lane, 12-footer. Shooting in tough luck. Rebound is grabbed by Baker. Pass down the floor to Theodore. He's all alone.
Oh, really sympathize with Darrell Allen. He is a tremendous ball player, but nothing is going right for him right now, and that last shot epitomized that. There's another one.
There's another one. That one taken by Brown on the break with the ball, the steal, and knocked away, picked up now by Brown of De La Salle. 35-25, Maine South. Tokars, can he make it 2 in a row? No. Rebound, jump shot, Callaway, won't go. Rebound, Fiddler. Foul going to be called on De La Salle's Tokars, I believe.
All right, let's watch as the ball goes up. We're going to have a little scramble under the under the backboard. Here he comes down with it, and I think it was number 11, Tom, of Callaway. I may be wrong.
No, number 20, Tokars, the coach's
right,
son.
You're right. Never want to give it to the coach's son.
Minute 2 remaining here in this 4th period. And a frustrating afternoon for the team you're looking at there. De La Salle, they've really had some problems. Maine South leading by 10. That's as good as anybody has been. And De La Salle has been taken completely out of their basketball game. They've never been allowed to get their tempo going. Maine South, to their credit, a team that 10 times has scored over 80 points. A team that averaged 72 points a game on the year and winning 28 while losing 1. Maine South able to control the tempo of this game to their liking. And here they are up by 10 with a minute to go. Jerry Tokars hasn't quit coaching now.
You know, maybe De La Salle is just tired too, Tom. They have come through one of the toughest regional sectionals and super sectionals of any team in the state. They have survived, and maybe it has just taken its toll on them.
You mean Proviso East, wasn't it?
Those kind of people. St. Joseph, you know.
And then Barrington.
Barrington. They've played some top-notch competition. I tell you, got to be tough just to survive in that Catholic League in Chicago.
I can believe it. Here's Fiddler at the free throw line. Rebound comes to Tokars. Tokars gives the ball to Brown. Brown on the attack for De La Salle. They need a bucket now. From the baseline, short, rebound. Brown, yeah, he's got it back. Makes it. He's got 5 points, 35-27. Only 47 seconds. 8-point disadvantage. Maine South put the ball. And a foul to be called on Callaway. At the free throw line will be Heiler. And Heiler is a 64% free throw shooter.
Well, it's so easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, but I'm sure Jerry, in retrospect, will wish he had gone into this full court zone press sooner.
Miss on the free throw, rebound to Allen. Allen over out of the backcourt, down in the corner, baseline. Tokars shot, grabbed off by Fiddler. Maine South has it, half minute to go. Poked away by Callaway, out of bounds to the Hawks. Maine South will play Eastleigh in our opening game tomorrow afternoon, semifinal competition. Tonight, we've got Lockport and Bennett Academy and Manly, the public school champs in Chicago, against Quincy, the unbeaten team in the field of 8. Quincy came in 30-0.
Clever pair of guards.
Amen. Beautiful pass, Fiddler. 37-27, 3 seconds, 2, 1. Brown, it's over. And Maine South defeats De La Salle 37-27. Here's Jack Burmaster.
Well, it certainly was a different ball game than we saw in the opener between East St. Louis and East Moline. As we said before, this had to be a coaching victory for Whitman Sullins. His game plan was executed to a T. He has a fine basketball team, taking nothing away at all from De La Salle. They are also a very fine basketball club. Just was not their day. All right, let's switch to Floyd Brown in Tournament Central.
Thank you, Jack. At this point, we know who will be playing in the first semifinal tomorrow. Winners in tonight's game will make up the other half of the bracket tomorrow afternoon. So tune in at 7 tonight to find out who else will make it to the semifinals. And we'll be back right after this.
Hi, Lee Phillip. When you shop at a True Value hardware store, you know you'll receive good values, because a True Value hardware store dealer knows his business and owns his business. And he knows that the success of his business depends on satisfying you. So he not only offers a selection of quality merchandise, he also shares his product knowledge with experience-backed advice. So to get the best values for your needs, shop at your True Value hardware store.
Divorce can be emotionally difficult and also legally difficult. So getting good legal help is important in reaching a fair settlement, especially if children are involved. You know your feelings. Your lawyer knows your rights and obligations. He or she can advise you objectively and explain your legal alternatives. Divorce is difficult, so be sure. Work with your lawyer.
So our first two quarterfinal games are gone. East Moline a winner over East St. Louis in that opener, and it was Maine South beating De La Salle 37-27 in that second game. You can color De La Salle frustrated, to be sure. And Maine South, a lot of credit has to be given to the coach, Quitman Sullins, and to the ball club that was able to completely reverse their style of basketball play from what they've done this year to play a slow-down type of game and win it. Let's check the stats. Baker had 12, 10 points scored by Fiddler. Theodore had 7, Crowell had 2, and Heiler had 6. For De La Salle, well, 4 points to Williams. Burridge had 4, 8 to Allen. Jerry Tokers had 2, 2 to McHale, 5 to Brown, 2 to Callaway. It was 8-7 at the end of the first period in favor of Maine South, 12-11 at the half, 24-17 at the end of 3 periods of play, and 37-27 as Maine South has advanced into semifinal play against East Moline tomorrow. Maine South shot 50%, De La Salle 26%, and Maine South won it. Lloyd?
We'll be back on the air at 7 tonight to bring you 2 more quarterfinal games in the 1979 Illinois High School Association basketball tournament. The victors tonight will be the contenders in the second semifinal tomorrow afternoon.
And now this is Tom Kelly along with Floyd Brown and Jack Burmaster saying so long for Illinois Bell, working to keep your telephone system the best. And by your John Deere dealer, where you'll find big savings on lawn tractors and mowers if you go in now.
By Blue Cross Blue Shield, people you can count on when it counts. By the members of the Illinois State Bar Association. By 7-Up, America's turning 7-Up. And by True Value Hardware, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
We'll see you tonight at 7. Our administrative engineer here in Champaign-Urbana has been Bob Knutson. Joe Corneo, Barbara Luce, and Lauren DeCoster were our assistant directors. Alan Hall has been our coordinator. The directors of this telecast have been Bill Lotzer and Arnie Harris. Portions of this program mechanically reproduced. This program has been produced by NW Air ABH International. Unit managers have been Darrell Blue, Larry Waters, Mark Kelly, Henry Sujeski, and Bill Helms. Don Aries was the producer of this telecast. Our executive producer, Rick Hawley. This has been a WGN Television 9 sports presentation.
The Starburst Blast-Off.